is that the reason why why this problem has become so intense is for a few reasons. One, the pastoralists from northern parts are bringing tens of thousands of cattle in addition to sheep and goats. And so they have pretty much overgrazed most of the communal lands in northern Kenya. And as a result, when you overgraze, that means that the root has actually been pulled out. And that makes it very, very difficult for several seasons to regrow that pasture unless proper measures are taken. Right now, there's not a real strong form of rangelands management, from what I've been told. And so as a result, they can't stay there because they have no resources for their animals. So another problem complicating this particular drought, Shaka, is that, as your listeners I'm sure are aware, Kenya is gearing up for its elections in August. And what has been happening is that some of the politicians have been alleged to be inciting their followers and their constituents, many of these pastoralists, to go down onto private lands and feel free to take what they need, which has further complicated this situation. Many of them are angry because many of these ranches and conservations are owned by whites, and they're telling their constituents that it's time to take their land back. Now, when you talk to local people who are in the direct vicinity, and I can say this, and I interviewed many locals, they do not want the Mzungu or white people to leave. They say that these are the people that have helped them in this particular drought. I kind of stumbled into a few food distributions on my reporting assignment, where some of the local landowners were distributing food, and then in other cases they had actually pumped water from their own boreholes to help the local villagers. So from what I could ascertain from my interviews, people are for the most part, very pleased with their rancher neighbors, and they're upset that these newcomers are bringing firearms into their villages. They are stealing their livestock, and for a small holder, having 15 sheep or goats stolen is a big deal. And so local people are not happy. And so as a result of all of this, Kenya has deployed its military, which started operations, I believe, at the end of last week. And today they kicked into higher gear.
I was actually going to ask you about the response of the government authorities, because Kenya does have a reputation, at least for being governed reasonably well.
Yes, and this situation, because of its complexity, there have been some stops and some starts. There was a ranch owner that was killed at the beginning of this month. He was going out to check on some burned lodges when he was attacked by some of these pastoralists, or as some of the ranchers call them, invaders, because they are on private property. But I can say that I've got a source who informed me that today, actually, KDF, or the military, in conjunction with the Kenyan Police Services, started operations in the Laikipia Nature Conservancy. And apparently, from what I'm told, they didn't give proper notice, allegedly, to the pastoralists who were there. So they went in and started shooting cattle. Well, you can imagine that did not go over so well. And so up until about an hour ago, I was told that there was burning and shots fired at the Laikipia Nature Conservancy in Laikipia. Now, I tried to get in touch with the spokesman for the Interior Ministry to confirm what he knew from his side of the security operations, and he said he was going to be looking into it, and I have not been able to get in touch with him yet, but I'll keep working on that to see what the status is as of now. But unfortunately, it seems as though, and I can say that many of the locals that I talked to last week were concerned about the military being deployed, because they said that although they're happy for the extra security, they also realize that if it's not handled in a delicate way, if the military and the police operations go in guns blazing, so to speak, they are the ones left on the ground when all the dust has settled and the security forces are gone, and they have to deal with the retaliation. So right now, I think people are just very much on edge in the area, knowing, both how are the police and the military handling this, and how are the pastoralists going to respond.